Why $300 per month invested is more powerful than a raise. Let me guess, you've been waiting for that raise. You check your email a little more often. You refresh your banking app a little too much. You've already mentally spent the extra $400 a month you might get. Maybe it's $500. Maybe it's $800. And in your head, you're thinking, once that raise hits, then I'll finally be able to get ahead. Here's the thing. What if I told you that a simple $300 per month investment, something completely within your control, could do more for your financial future than a raise you've been waiting years to get? And I don't mean feel-good advice. I mean mathematically, psychologically, structurally, like life-changing difference. And that's what we're breaking down today. My name is Robert, and I spend way too much time thinking about investments. If you're someone who is constantly waiting for a raise, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, I'm not anti-raise. I like raises. I want you to get paid more. But here's what most people don't realize. Raises rarely make you wealthy. Investing does. And today I'm going to show you exactly why $300 per month invested consistently is more powerful than most raises you'll ever receive. Let's start with the common assumption. More income equals more wealth. Sounds obvious, right? Except it's wrong. According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average annual raise in the U.S. is around 3 to 5%. If you're making $70,000 per year, a 4% raise gives you about $2,800 more annually. After taxes, let's be generous and say you keep $2,000. That's about $166 per month. Now, here's the uncomfortable question. Do you actually feel $166 richer every month? Or did that money disappear into slightly nicer groceries, higher rent, more subscriptions, and maybe a car upgrade? Because that's what usually happens. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most powerful psychological forces working against you. This is where it gets really interesting. Behavioral economists call it hedonic adaptation. You quickly adjust to a new income level, and your baseline spending increases. It feels temporary. It feels harmless. But over 10, 20, 30 years, it's devastating. According to a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research, income increases tend to raise life satisfaction only temporarily. Within months, spending adjusts upward, and the financial stress baseline returns. Translation, you get a raise, and you still feel broke. But investing works differently. Investing doesn't just increase your spending power, it increases your ownership, and ownership compounds. Let's do real numbers. No hype, just math. If you invest $300 per month into a low-cost S and P 500 index fund, historically returning about 10% annually before inflation, or roughly 7% after inflation. Here's what happens. Let's assume a conservative 8% annual return. If you invest $300 per month for 10 years, you'll have about $55,000. 20 years, about $177,000. 30 years, about $447,000. 40 years, about $933,000. That's not a typo. $300 per month turns into nearly $1 million over 40 years, and you only contributed $144,000 total. The rest? Compound growth. Here's what most people don't realize. In that 40-year example, over $789,000 of that money came from growth, not from you working. That's your money making money. Now compare that to a raise. The raise versus investment comparison. Let's say you get a $5,000 annual raise. After taxes, Maybe you keep $3,500. You spend most of it because that's what humans do. Now imagine instead of waiting for that raise, you immediately start investing $300 per month. You didn't get paid more, you just allocated differently. Fast forward 30 years. Your raise? Long forgotten. Your investment account? Nearly $500,000. This is where the power shift happens. A raise increases your income. Investing increases your assets. Assets change your life. The ownership shift. Look, when you invest in an index fund, you're not saving. You're buying ownership in hundreds of companies. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Johnson & Johnson. When those companies grow, your net worth grows. According to S&P Global data, the S&P 500 has averaged roughly 10% annual returns since 1926. That includes wars, recessions, inflation spikes, financial crises, the long-term trajectory, up. And every month you invest, you're adding fuel to that compounding machine. But $300 is a lot. Now, you might be thinking, Robert, $300 is not nothing. And you're right. For many people, $300 feels tight. But let's break this down. The average American household spends over $3,500 per year dining out, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's almost $300 per month. Streaming services, gym memberships, car upgrades, Amazon impulse buys. I'm not saying eliminate joy. I'm saying redirect just enough to own your future. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't need a massive raise. You need a consistent system. This is where it gets really interesting. Compounding is slow until it isn't. In your first 10 years of investing $300 per month at 8%, you build about $55,000. But in years 30 to 40 alone, your money grows by nearly $500,000. Let me say that again. The last decade contributes more growth than the first 3 decades combined. That's the curve most people underestimate. And this is why waiting for when I make more is dangerous. Time matters more than income. Story. 2 people, same salary. Let me tell you about Sarah and Mark. Both make $75,000 per year. Sarah invests $300 per month, starting at $25. Mark waits. He focuses on climbing the corporate ladder. At $35, Mark gets promoted and starts investing $600 per month, double Sarah's amount. Guess who wins? If they both invest until 65 at 8%, Sarah ends up with roughly $1.2 million. Mark ends up with around $1.0 million, even though he invested more per month. Why? Time. Compounding doesn't reward intensity. It rewards consistency. Investing changes something psychologically. When you invest every month, you stop obsessing over raises. You stop tying your identity to your employer. You start thinking long-term. You feel ownership. You feel leverage. And that's powerful because here's the thing. When your investments start earning more in a year than your raise would have given you, that changes how you see money. At around $150,000 invested, an 8% return is $12,000 per year. That's like getting a $12,000 raise without asking anyone for permission. That's financial leverage. Action plan. How to start today. Let's get practical. Here's what to do. Step 1. Open a brokerage or retirement account. If your employer offers a 401k with a match, start there. Otherwise, open a Roth IRA or taxable brokerage account. Step 2. Choose a low-cost index fund. Look for total market or S&P 500 funds with expense ratios under 0.1%. You don't need complicated strategies. You need Consistency. Step 3. Automate $300 per month. Automation removes emotion. Emotion ruins investing. Step 4. Increase contributions with raises. Here's the twist. When you do get a raise, invest most of it. Live on your old salary. That's how you break lifestyle inflation. Making more money doesn't automatically create wealth. Keeping and investing money does. According to Federal Reserve data, the median net worth of U.S. households in the top income quintile is dramatically higher than lower quintiles. But even within high earners, those who consistently invest build far more wealth than those who simply earn more. Income gives you potential. Investing converts potential into assets. Assets convert into freedom. This is where it all comes together. Imagine you've invested for 25 years. You've built $300,000. At 8%, that's $24,000 per year in average growth. That's $2,000 per month. Your investments are now generating more than the original $300 you contributed. Eventually, they generate more than your raise. Eventually, they generate more than your job. And at that point, you're no longer working because you have to. You're working because you choose to. That's the difference. Most people are waiting for a raise, a promotion, the right time, the market to calm down, more income. But wealth doesn't come from waiting. It comes from starting, even imperfectly, even with $300, especially with $300. Let me leave you with this. If you invested $300 per month starting today, future you would look back and say, that was the moment everything changed. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was consistent. Raises are external. Investing is internal. Raises depend on someone else's decision. Investing depends on yours. And the math is clear. Time plus consistency beats waiting plus hoping every single time. If this shifted your perspective even a little bit, hit the like button. And if you're serious about building wealth, instead of waiting for permission to earn it, subscribe. Because here's the thing. You don't need a massive raise. You need ownership. You need time. You need consistency. And $300 per month might just be the most powerful financial decision you ever make. I'll see you in the next one.